Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this is Tom Clark's Main Event. Happy Friday to you all once again. Welcome back to the show. I'm Tom. This is the Main Event. In case you didn't know, this is episode number 198. That's right, kids. 2 episodes away from the big 200. Can't wait. Pumped up. Pretty excited for that one, as we've been teasing for quite a while now. You're going to see new graphics. You're going to hear new music. You're going to see new microphone setup. Whenever I hit a milestone, I like to change things up and do a little different and put a new spin on things. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I'm still in the process of working on that. Still getting the music together. Nothing's finished. I've got an idea of how the graphics are going to look. I've been working in Photoshop for the past couple of months trying to nail down something I'm happy with. I'm kind of there, but I'm not quite there. So just stay tuned for that. And again, thanks everybody who has supported the show during this entire time. Thanks to all of you who maybe have been listening from day one. We've been doing this for 6 years this year, started in 2014. It's been a great ride, and we continue to have fun each and every Friday, and we hope that you're ready to have fun today. We've got a jam-packed show, as always. Lots of stuff to talk about. Big news happening this week in the world of pro wrestling. Let's get some hellos out the way this morning. Sandy in Germany is hitting us first thing. Hey, what's going on, Sandy in Germany? What's up, Jeff? Shannon, what's going on? Thanks, as always, for hanging out. Shane, buddy, we got some New Japan to talk about today, man. I know you know what I'm talking about. Belinda, what's going on? Jason, JMC in the house. What's going on, man? Diane, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. David in Down Under, thanks much, my friend, as always, for hanging out. Mr. Martinez, thanks for hanging out on the show today. Christopher, what's going on? JMC says, I was able to catch you after lunch this time, so that's a good thing. No interruptions as far as lunch goes. Great, man. What's up, Greg? Thanks for watching. Ray is Adam Cole's biggest fan, in case you didn't know. Now you know. What's up, Mark? How you doing, man? There you are. There's your comment. So, yeah, man, lots of stuff to talk about today. Let's get the ticker up here ticking, doing what the ticker's supposed to do. We got lots of stuff to talk about. As we said before, it's a big week in WWE. They had their draft. Okay. So let's just kick off the show with it, and we'll get your take and your feedback and see what you guys think. Let's go ahead and cover it. I'm just going to hit you in rapid fire succession, and we can come back and talk about this when it's all done. Sound good? Sounds great. Okay, so night one of the draft was on last week's SmackDown, as we all know, October 9th. Round one, WWE champion WWE champion Drew McIntyre stays on Raw. SmackDown gets Universal champion Roman Reigns. No big surprise there. Raw Women's champion Asuka stays on Raw. Seth Rollins heading to SmackDown. So now SmackDown can be the Seth Rollins show. I don't know that I saw that coming, only because Roman's doing such a phenomenal job as the top heel on that show now. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole thing, if I'm being straight with you. I don't know that I expected Rollins and Reigns to be on the same show. Maybe I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. We'll get your take on it here. Victor, what's going on? We're going to say a few more hellos in case you didn't know. Robbie, what's up? My friend, Paul, what's going on? We'll see how it all plays itself out. Paul says the draft was a waste of time. Marcus says draft was cool. We got different opinions here. No worries. Friday Night Messiah, Jeff says, yeah, well done, my friend. Let's move right along through this. Raw, the Hurt Business stays on Raw. United States Champion Lashley, along with Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and MVP. No big surprise there. Round two of the draft, Raw takes AJ Styles. That'll be something different. SmackDown sticks with the boss, Sasha Banks. Naomi heads to Raw. SmackDown goes with Bianca Belair. The WWE Tag Team, Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler to Raw, which I thought the championships were supposed to be able to float through both brands, but maybe I'm crazy. I guess they've changed it, yes. Round 3 that night, Ricochet stays on Raw. Jey Uso SmackDown. Mandy Rose to Raw. Dominic and Rey Mysterio go to SmackDown. So they're going to follow Rollins. So I guess this thing will never be over, folks. And now SmackDown will become the Rey and Dominic hour. The Rey and Dominic mystery hour. I don't know. The Miz and John Morrison headed to Raw. Round 4, Raw, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Kofi and Xavier Woods are heading to Monday nights. We saw the exchange backstage with the championship titles. It's a little kooky, but it's WWE would expect. SmackDown taking Big E. So this effectively breaks up the New Day. Now, I don't think it's official, and I don't think this is a permanent deal. I think it's ridiculous, if I'm being honest, to break up the New Day. They, as we said last week, longest running faction in WWE history, consistently running faction. I stick to that. People tried to challenge me. It's all good. But they are, I just didn't see any reason to break them up, if I'm being straight with you. I still don't. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. You know, if the idea is to push Big E as a major player, I'm good with that. Big E versus Roman is something I think needs to happen. Coffee time. Yes. Gots to have the coffee, okay? Second cup today. No biggie. Biggie, no pun intended, yes. But yeah, if this means Roman versus Big E for the WWE Championship, I'm totally fine with that. Mr. Money in the Bank, Otis to SmackDown, Dana Brooke to Raw, Angel Garza to Raw. Round 5, this was actually announced on WWE Talking Smack. Humberto Carrillo to Raw, Murphy to SmackDown. So yes, kids, as we said before, the Seth Rollins, Rey, Dominic, and Murphy mystery hour remains intact. It's the Mysterio Variety Show. I'm going to come up with a catchy name. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. Tucker to Raw. So, you know, Heavy Machinery, I suppose, you know, I guess they're done. They were kind of done anyway, right? Kalisto to SmackDown, Drew Gulak to Raw. That was night 1. What are some takeaways for you on night 1? What's your thoughts before we get to night 2, which took place this past Raw? What's your thoughts on night 1? Juan asks, any word on when live events will start? I think that all depends upon the state we're talking about. Florida's wide open because their governor is, well, he's a fun guy, huh? Let me tell you something about science. I don't give no crap about no science, man. If you're just tuning in, imagine the shock and dismay people are hitting as they hit the little play button, and they've got me going, let me tell you something about science. I don't give no crap about no science. That's where we are in the world today, kids. I don't give no crap about no science. I'm in North Carolina. If you think I haven't heard grown men speak those words word for word, if you think I'm lying, you're crazy, okay? Every day down here, right? I don't give no crap about no science. Maybe I exaggerate. It's basically what I'm talking about, though, man. People a lot smarter than probably all of us combined. I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, back to wrestling. Jeff says, splitting up teams without problems, for sure. Timothy, what's going on, man? William Littlejohn, welcome back to the show. Where are you? There you are. Yeah. So if you hear the lawnmower in the background, I live at the end of a cul-de-sac, and I've done my best to soundproof the window here in my office. It's not always successful. And one of my neighbors is a landscaper who actually takes care of my yard. And so he's picked today of all days. The kookiest stuff tends to happen when I do podcasts. I'm not lying. Marcus says Big E can make a New Day on SmackDown too. I'm not hating that, but at this point, in my opinion, Marcus, just me talking, I think the only reason to split these guys up or even tease it or even attempt it is to get Big E on the path to the top. And I'm okay with that. So, I mean, they redid the Horsemen a few times, you know. Nothing's like the original. You can argue that the Barry Windham version was better than the original, and I could argue that all day long. But, you know, reorganizing New Day and stuff, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. Sandy, they don't believe in tag teams. We talk about this all the time. Talking about it for 20, 30 years in that company. It's the freaking truth, man. It's crazy. Happy AJ went to Raw. He might get a push as Big E turning. I don't think Big E needs to turn. Roman's WWE champion. I don't think he needs to turn. William says, I think New Day is stagnant without a live crowd. Preach. They've been making the best of it, but yeah, there's a lot of acts in that company and in pro wrestling in general who do much better with live crowds. Can you hear it? You know what's going to suck is for all you good folks out there who subscribe and download the audio version of this show, you're going to have that, that lawnmower all up in your ears. God help us all. My humblest apologies, kids. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. So yeah, in fact, it's my yard getting done next. Wouldn't it be great to have a heads up on that? Usually it's Wednesdays when he hits me. He didn't hit me on Wednesday this time. So yeehaw for me. Dennis says, Phil, AJ left Raw a few months ago because of Heyman. Heyman comes back with Roman and AJ packs his bags for Raw. Could be. Could be. Shane says, I did not follow the draft, but if Keith Lee went to SmackDown, he should team up with Big E. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting, man. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's hit to night 2, which took place on the October 12th edition of Monday Night Raw. WWE Network exclusive announcement. Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado headed to Raw and Shorty G to SmackDown. If you care anything about Chad Gable, it's because you feel bad for this guy. Because they've certainly not done anything to make you care about him. They call a grown man Shorty G, and I just continue to shake my head in utter terror, dismay. I was going to say disbelief. No such thing with that company. Yeah, so The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is on Monday nights now, kids. And so's his new, wackadoodle girlfriend. This is, what was the movie with Natural Born Killers? That's what it's coming down to, isn't it? She's under his spell. he's got a brain, Tom. He's mind control. Okay, sure. It's wrestling, kids. I don't know what to tell you. It's WWE, man. What are you going to do? A lot of people love it. I can't say I hate it, but I don't know if I'm in love with it. Does that make sense? Moving on. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley remains on SmackDown. Randy Orton stays on Raw. Raw Tag Team Champions, as we said before, Street Profits headed to SmackDown. Exchange of belts backstage. It was what it was. Charlotte Flair to Raw. We'll see how that plays out. Braun Strowman to Raw. He's been jawing back and forth with Roman online. Listen, take that stuff with a grain of salt. It's been coming out the last several hours. I didn't even put it as a headline today because it's quite silly in my humble opinion. It's all storyline. So if you're into that sort of thing, you'll enjoy it. And if you think it's real, it's not, I assure you. Daniel Bryan to SmackDown, Matt Riddle to Raw, Kevin Owens to SmackDown, Jeff Hardy to Raw. Round 3, Retribution, Mustafa Ali, T-Bar, Mace, Slapjack, and The Reckoning. Let me say that again. T-Bar, Mace, Slapjack, and The Reckoning. And to all of you people out there who like to make fun of foreign names, you know what I'm saying? Like they're kooky or they sound weird to you. Mustafa Ali is the most normal name in this entire lineup. T-Bar, Slapjack. Shut up. Yeah, so the group that claims they want to destroy WWE is, drafted by Raw. Not kicked off the show. Drafted by Raw. I'll leave you guys to discuss that and laugh amongst yourselves. SmackDown gets Lars Sullivan because let's go down roads that were blocked off before and didn't work. And were washed out. Look, at some point, it's time to tap out. Lars Sullivan might be a credit to his race. I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know the guy personally, never met him. But I know that I've seen a lot of stuff that he's said and done online. And man, he continues to get himself in trouble, at least in controversy. Tap out, cut your losses. Now, I've never advocated for anyone to be fired. I'm not doing that now. Just because the guy could be released doesn't mean he'd be without a job for very long. I don't think he would go very long without a job. I think any pro wrestling promotion in this country would pick him up because of his size, because of potential. Big word, kids, potential. So no, I'm not advocating that he lose his job and lose his income. Please don't misunderstand me here. But in terms of being an on-the-air main roster draw, tap out. Okay? Tap out. pull him off TV again, work with him behind the scenes, coach him up, and tell him, look, man, you continue to say and do stuff that's you're getting yourself in trouble. Why are we going down this road, dude? Please stop. You've got everything in front of you. And you could be moving forward, but instead we continue to have this conversation. I don't know if that's happened or not. It's just one guy's opinion. Take it or leave it. So there you go. Keith Lee remains on Raw. King Corbin, SmackDown. Alexa Bliss to Raw with her crazy boyfriend, apparently Bray Wyatt. Elias to Raw. Yes, that's right, folks. Elias is back. Okay, moving on. SmackDown Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn to the Blue Brand, Lacey Evans to Raw. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro to remain on SmackDown. Sheamus to Raw. Round 5, Nikki Cross to Raw. SmackDown gets Ziggler and Robert Roode. R-Truth heading to Raw. Apollo Crews to SmackDown. Dabba-Kato to Raw. Round 6, Titus O'Neil to Raw. Carmella to SmackDown. Peyton Royce to Raw. Aleister Black to SmackDown. Akira Tozawa to Raw. Round 7 announced on Raw Talk. Lana to Raw, Natalya to SmackDown, Riddick Moss to Raw, the Riot Squad to SmackDown, and Arturo Ruas on Raw. So there you are, kids. There's the entire draft. Wasn't that fun? JMC says, I thought I was going to be or used to mark out to her, but she had music change and plus her haircut. I used to find her attractive. Okay, Jason. Didn't we talk about the whole pretty and attractive thing last week? I don't know. You talking about Alexa? I don't really care about the whole pretty and attractive thing. It's not that I'm blind. I notice when a girl's attractive, but I just don't care about that. I just don't care about it. So Ray, apparently the latest thing with Lars is that he was hitting on someone online and sending her comments like saying how pretty she was. And I forget what it is this lady does. And please don't quote me. I don't want to misquote the situation or mislead you or anything. But apparently she started sending screenshots of the conversations to a dirt sheet, okay? And because she asked him to stop, that she wasn't going to send him pictures of like, well, you can kind of guess what kind of pictures. We're not talking about pictures of cats or puppies, okay? So anyway, none of that stuff's going to happen. He was asking for something a little bit more risque, shall we say. And the conversations were posted online. I think I saw them on Twitter. And supposedly the comment was made to her, look, we're glad to keep your name out of this comment. She's like, I don't care if you put my name in there or not. I got nothing to hide. So yeah, this person's like, yep, okay. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But like I said, how in the world do you keep getting I just don't understand how you keep getting in trouble. I don't get it. Gerald says, happy the Ember Moon is now. I got a plane. You hear that? Man, I got lawnmowers. I got planes. My God in heaven. This is transportation hub here at Tom Clark's main event today. My God in heaven. Gerald, my bad, dude. Happy the Ember Moon is back on TV on NXT. Well, much better than what she was doing before, which was a whole bunch of nothing. Another example of a talent they put on the main roster and then didn't know what to do with her. It's a shame. It's a shame. I don't get it. I don't get it. Brian Ali says WWE is becoming a joke. Paul says too early for flapjacks. Never too early for flapjacks, Paul. Carla, I don't know what all the Jeff Jarrett references are coming on here. Oh, I see. Because of the retribution thing. Yeah. Tony Storm is back. Yes, she is. Most definitely. And I think we're all very happy to see that. Will, welcome to the show, my friend. I'm going back to your comments in case you can't tell. Let's see. Yeah, Dennis, we kind of talked about it. That's kind of been teased for a long time that, Bray Wyatt's like the Joker and she says Harley Quinn. I'm okay with that. I don't know. I mean, again, we're supposed to believe that a grown woman is being mind controlled. I mean, it is what it is. It's WWE. What are you going to do? Isn't this fun with the engine in the background? We're going to power through, kids. We're going to power through. Let's see. What else you guys got going on? Anything else you want to talk about the draft? We can always circle back to it at the end of the show on the open floor. Let's get to some other stuff, shall we? There was a story that's come out recently about the possibility of of Roman Reigns, there it is, versus The Rock at WrestleMania next year. That's 37, yes? Supposedly, the idea of insurance is a big thing because the movie studios, I mean, you would guess that The Rock's agent and whatnot, it's like, look, man, if you get in a match and you break something, you tear something, if you're supposed to start filming on a movie 2 weeks from that match, or whatever the case may be, the shooting schedule is going to be interrupted. It's going to cost you money down the line. And look, here's the deal. The Rock is a genetic specimen, in case you didn't know. He's a god among men. All right, there's 2 different kinds of men on this planet, okay? There's The Rock, and there's all the rest of us, okay? You put me up next to The Rock, I no longer even look like a man. I look like some sort of odd, pudgy species of something that walked off another planet next to that guy, all right? Or he does. He looks like I don't know. But either way, he's all man, baby, is what I'm saying. So because he's in such great shape, because he takes care of himself, because he diets and exercises on the reg, because he lives in the weight room, in the gym, obviously when he's injured, his recovery time goes from this all the way down to that, okay? But that's not saying it's okay if he gets hurt. I'm not saying that at all, kids. What I am saying is that it's not the same as, no disrespect, but an overweight, wrestler's been in the game for 15 years. It's a lot different, okay? I mean, The Rock is in fantastic shape. Will that make a difference? I don't know. I'll tell you this. Every time we go live here on the show, ever since Roman came back, it's been, oh, man, he's got to face The Rock, Tom. Oh, my God in heaven. Roman versus Rock, WrestleMania 37, book it. Make it happen. And a lot of people really stick to that. A lot of people believe that. So, case in point, Marcus says, Roman Reigns versus The Rock should happen at WrestleMania. Well, there you go. There you go. Carlos, brother, I hear what you're saying. But listen, man, this idea of a heel Samoan faction, I'm not saying it won't happen. But this, in my opinion, goes back to the idea of, did you know they're going to do a 4 Horsemen faction in AEW and Cody's going to be at the head of it? I don't know where that came from. To this day, I don't know where that came from. They throw stuff out on Dynamite sometimes to make you believe there might be heading in a certain direction. Nothing's happened. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying it wouldn't be awesome. But at the same time, do they need it? No, sir, they don't. In my humble opinion, this should be Roman and Paul for a good long time. You can put ancillary characters around him as backup if you want to, but I don't think you should put quote-unquote stars with him. Now, look, that's just my take. You like the cup? I've had this cup for a long time. Because in case you didn't know, I'm a massive Beatles fan. You see? There it is. There they are behind the football. And there's A Hard Day's Night, the American version of the soundtrack. There you go. Yeah, you know what I need to do? Get one of those burners that plug in with the USB. That'd be good. So, where were we? Michael says, why is Lars back? What a waste. There you go. Danny said, Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns. Sure. But, talk about what could happen first. Roman versus Rock could probably happen first. Paul says, Roman Rock needs to be in front of a capacity crowd. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I agree. Shane says Roman should fight Brock at Mania. No, I disagree, Shane. I've seen that match. I don't want to see it again. I don't care about it. I can't imagine Brock being a babyface without Paul Heyman. I guess it's possible they could make it work. I don't see it. All due respect, I just don't agree with that at all. It's not something I personally want to see. We've been down that road a lot of times. I want to see new, fresh matchups. I want Roman versus Rock. I want Roman versus Big E. I want something new, fresh, and different. That's where my head's at right now. Christopher says Beatles suck. And Christopher, you about to get kicked off my show, pal. I'm just kidding. I won't do that to you. But you need to seriously reevaluate your life choices. Shannon says, I don't see the need for Roman versus The Rock. Okay, it's all good. I appreciate your opinion. Elvis says, what kind of coffee are you drinking? I'm stuck on hazelnut coffee. Hey, it's Folgers makes this thing. Today's Tom Clark's main event, sponsored by Folgers Coffee. Hazelnut cream, right? It's really good. But today I'm drinking pumpkin coffee because when it comes to the fall of the year, I'm a basic white girl. You better believe that. I do everything but wear like the what is it, like the furry boots and the scarf. Because I love me some pumpkin, man. I can't help it. I'm all about the pumpkin. Let's see. Where are you, Mark? Wow, Paul Heyman managing another Samoan team I just don't, Mark, I got to be honest. I don't care about it. I just don't care about it. Look, I'll admit to you, like I said last week, and I think the week before, yes, it makes sense. Paul's got a huge track record and a huge history with the Samoan family. I totally get it. I don't care to see it. We've seen what happens when that company pairs Heyman with other talents. It never works out. And I don't know if it's the chemistry issue or booking issue, or a little bit of both, or maybe one or the other. I don't know. But it doesn't work out. If you want to make Paul Heyman effective, in my opinion, Paul Heyman needs to be a singular voice for one guy. Now, for all I know, tonight it'll blow open, wide open, and you know, Roman to come out with 12 guys with him and gals. Who knows, dude? I don't know. I'm just giving you my take. Jason says, personally, don't want to see The Rock versus Roman, not at this point, because The Rock can't take bumps. Yes, no, I disagree with you, Jason. I think The Rock bumps on movie sets. You think he's not doing a lot of his own stunts? I think he'd be great. I mean, honestly, he's in great shape. Now, listen, being jacked up does not necessarily mean you got great cardio, but look at The Rock. You think he doesn't have great cardio? He'd be fine in the ring. I don't agree with that at all. Shannon, so I got some teasers for you, my friend. We do have a deep dive coming up on one of the Beatles' most classic albums of all time. And there's going to be more Beatles content on the 6M podcast. By the way, in case you folks didn't know, I got other podcasts as well. I got Tom Clark's 6M podcast, which focuses on movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. It's 6M's, baby. As of yesterday, we passed the total downloads for the month of September, 15 days into the month of October. I'm crazy excited about it. I'm insanely happy. It's overperforming, exceeding all expectations. And today, just so you know, immediately following this show today, okay, if you'll flip over to my Facebook page, because I'm not going to do the tease here on this channel. This is wrestling. I get it. I'm going to give you the episode reveal for episode 10, which drops Tuesday. Brand new episodes of Tom Clark's 6M podcast drop every Tuesday. You don't want to miss it. I assure you, you're going to enjoy it. Wrestling fans, you're going to enjoy it. I promise you. Ryan says, I've been hearing Naomi to the Hurt Business. I'm okay with that. Put a lady in the mix. I can deal with that all day. Victor says Andrade hasn't been drafted because he's getting an operation, then getting some time off, but supposedly getting a big push. Yeah, we'll see. It could be. Marcus says, what about Friday Night Messiah? I don't want to see it, Marcus. I'm going to be honest with you. They did all this work to convince you that Seth Rollins is the biggest piece of hot garbage that ever walked the planet. You don't just turn him face in 5 minutes. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm not saying they won't go there eventually, but I just don't see it happening right now. 6MB. That's good, Gerald. I get that. One more thing on Rock and Roman. Jason said, I hope you agree with me on that. Not want to see The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania because The Rock can't take bumps. No, I don't agree, Jason. I don't agree. I don't think his physical well-being would play a factor in the match unless it's for the reason I gave earlier, because of the whole insurance thing and them not wanting to cover him for a match. For all you New Japan fans, it's about to get real fun. Here we go. Kota Ibushi wins the A block of the G1 Climax 30 tournament. That's right. This is the third year in a row, I think he's won, and he's going to the finals. Man, this is going to be huge. We don't yet know. The B block winner will be decided in tonight. I think it's tonight's show, yes. And we'll see what happens. But, man, Kota Ibushi, one of the best in that company. They've invested a lot of time and money and effort into this guy, and they should. He's phenomenal. He always really has been. And yeah, his style has come a long way since he first started. He's really developed into his own, and man, it's good for him. And he's one of the most exciting parts of that company. And again, I will heavily endorse New Japan World. No, I get no kickback from that company. No, I'm not an inside guy or anything like that in terms of getting some kind of money out of them. So I assure you, if you invest in that streaming service, you will not be disappointed. Elvis says Drew versus a heel Jeff Hardy. Okay, sure. Yes, Mark, absolutely. Ibushi is so good. I agree with you. Mark says Ibushi is a beast. I could not have said it better myself. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the finals are Sunday, I believe. So yeah, we'll see what goes down. And that leads me to this. In case you haven't heard the news, hold on, kids. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. There it is. Will Ospreay has betrayed chaos in a move that none of us saw coming. Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin himself, has betrayed chaos. He betrayed Okada. He worked Okada. B. Priestley, his girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, came down and interrupted, got the referee's attention, and from out of nowhere, the Great O'Khan, who has Tomoaki Aka, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I think that was his name before he changed his gimmick. He's been in England this whole time on sabbatical, and he's back, and he looks to be in great shape. Maybe probably the best shape he's ever been in, unless that suit's hiding his body. I don't know. Maybe it is. It looks like he had thinned out in his face. He looks great. And he came in and did the I think that's Archer's choke slam, isn't it? Where he gives him the claw and then choke slams him. Yeah, he laid Okada out. People online having heartburn about this, talking about, oh, man, everyone betrays Okada. Look, kids, Okada is in the Dusty Rhodes position of NJPW, okay? That basically means that if you're going to go heel, you go heel on Okada. Why? Because it makes the biggest impact, because that's how important Okada is to that company. That's how popular he is and how much people love him. So you don't just go heel on anybody. No disrespect to any other talents in that company. You don't just go heel on anybody. You go heel on the biggest guy there, and that's Okada, okay? Which is what they had Ospreay do. And I'm sure that Ospreay was very appreciative of that and very humbled by it. And Okada doing the right thing for business yet again. And Okada, this guy, no ego, okay? Believe that. Okada, no ego at all, man. He just does what's best for the company. And good for him. And it just gives me more reason to love this guy, if I'm being honest. I proclaimed Will Ospreay to be the future of that company, that I believe that he and Jay White were going to battle for the fate of NJPW. And now all of a sudden things have changed. Will Ospreay is going full-blown heel. By the way, going to make his own stable. That's going to be fun, yes. Don't quote me, but I think the last, and Shane Odom, Shane, you listening, brother? You watching? Help me out here. The last faction created in New Japan was Shinsuke Nakamura with Chaos. Tell me if I'm right or wrong about that, but I think that's true. I think that was after Suzuki-Gun, wasn't it? Maybe I've got that backwards. Shane, help me out here, will you? But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see. And also on the same night, Tomohiro Ishii defeats Jay White. And Jay White has this moment at the end with Gato, who's upset. And he's very physically upset. And Jay White has this look in his eyes like, oh, crap, I'll let you down, which I didn't see coming. And then I just noticed, I just watched all this earlier. Can you tell I'm all pumped up? So Gato eventually starts blaming the referee. And Jay White cuts this promo backstage talking about, well, watch out, Evil. I wish you best of luck, but the referees hate Bullet Club. Okay, so again, all of a sudden, we went from Jay White being the top heel in New Japan, Will Ospreay being maybe the top babyface in New Japan, and now we could be getting a switch. I didn't see that coming. Jay White is a magnificent heel. Switchblade, magnificent heel. I just don't know. I don't know why. It's very different for me. Look, here's the deal, kids. When it comes to Gato and New Japan, I will give New Japan a benefit of the doubt. Do you want to know why? Because more often than not, Gato has never let me down as a fan of that company, as a fan of the wrestlers. He very rarely has ever let me down. I can't say that about other companies. I'm just telling you straight up. Now, if Gato starts developing a track record of never following through, promising one thing, never delivering, starting a storyline, never finishing, starting an angle, never finishing, letting you down, of advertising one thing, not letting it happen, going here, going there, changing it at the last second, then I'll change my tune. Because another company has done that a lot. You know who you are. Saying, okay. But if and when that time happens, then I'll change my tune. I don't see it happening. I could be wrong, but I don't see it happening. So what this means is, yes, I will give New Japan benefit of the doubt. Do you want to know why? Because they don't let me down all that often, if ever, if I'm just being straight with you. So I'm going to ride this out and see what happens. What's your thoughts on Ospreay? Toby says, Okada's the best in the world. Prove me wrong. I can't, Toby. I love Okada. Are you kidding me? I'm with you, brother. I've been with you for years. I'll say this: if anyone has a possibility to top him at this point, it might be Ospreay. He's that good. He's that good. I'm not going to say he will, but in my heart, I will say Okada's best in the world. Yes, John Cena got married, Gerald. He sure did. So, Elvis says Tom Clark versus King Corbin with me. No, he'll win. He'll go over. Everybody puts Corbin over. You kidding me? Tony says G1 Climax 30 has been ridiculously awesome. Yes, sir. I could not agree with that more. Very, very good. Let's see. Mike says, is Retribution getting a new member since Martinez is apparently out, or are they sticking with what they have? Oh, Mike, so here's the lesson from Retribution. I don't care. Mike, I'm playing with you, man. Don't take offense to that. It's a legit question. I don't know. Mercedes Martinez is out of the group now for whatever reason. Back in NXT, I suppose. We'll see. I don't know. Dude, they've done nothing to make me care about this, and I'm just giving it to you the way I see it. If I was enjoying it, I'd tell you that too, wouldn't I? If I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing they've done in years, I would flat out tell you that. I wouldn't hide it from you. So I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm not a fan of this. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. At some point, and I've ranted on this before, and I'll try not to do it today here, folks, I promise you. But at some point, I just want stuff to make sense. It doesn't have to be 100% logical. It's pro wrestling business. It's never going to be 100% logical. You're being asked to believe that two grown men are trying to kill each other. You know that's not the case. You know they don't truly hate each other for the most part. You know it's all the work. But what I'm saying is I don't need to advertise, and I don't need my intelligence insulted every single time I watch, which is what I get every time Retribution is on social media, every time they're online, every time they're on my TV. I don't care about it. I'm just telling you the way I see it, man. I wish I had a great answer for you. And again, I mean no disrespect to you. So, Jason's asking what Retribution's endgame is. Brother, from your lips to the ears of God. And maybe God's the only one who can answer at this point. Paul says, like them more when they were Nexus. Well done. Well done. Yeah, so there you go. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll wrap it up on Ospreay here and move on. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited to see what the next step is for him in New Japan. So, let's talk about ratings, shall we? This week's SmackDown, 2.087 million versus last week's 2.043. A slight bump, nothing major. This week's Raw, 1.86 million, up over last week's 1.686 million. Last Monday, Raw was up against some serious competition. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. I always ask you folks, if you care about the ratings, I get kind of a mixed bag of answers. We can always come back to it. We've talked about some WWE. We've talked about some New Japan. Let's talk about some AEW, shall we? Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston 2. That's right, kids. Eddie Kingston's come back for more. So, I love Kingston. I love him. Do you want to know why? Because he is, I was going to call him annoying, and I mean that in the best possible way. He's just got that, I don't know. How do I put this? How do I put it? I don't know that I've put it in such a way that it makes sense to me. He just, every time you think that he's going to shut up, he starts talking again. Every time you think that he's off your TV, he's back. And every time you think that he's done, he's not done. And I love that. I love that he is to AEW, in my opinion, what Cameron Grimes is to NXT, where you're like, how is this guy getting over? Right? That's the wrong explanation because I love Cameron. Cameron Grimes. I have to do it once every show. Shannon knows that, doesn't she? What's up, Shannon? So yeah, I have to. It's an odd explanation. It's okay. All right. So from a distance, you would look at Eddie Kingston and say, how is he getting over? Same thing with Grimes. But then you hear them and you see them, you're like, oh my God, this is such good stuff. It's the same thing. And again, I mean, no disrespect to Grimes or Kingston. It's an odd way to explain it. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, Cameron's not what Vince McMahon would want. And if you're flipping around to find AEW, maybe Kingston's not what you'd expect against a guy like Rhodes. But it fits. Do you see what I'm saying? It fits. So we'll see what happens. I love the connection with Mox. I think the fact that they've got history together is going to help. We'll see what goes down. Toby says, Eddie is good TV. Yes, sir, my friend. I couldn't agree more. Gerald says, Jericho and MJF for dinner next week. That's going to be good. And someone brought up the idea of it being in a Longhorn and then MJF forgetting his ring at the restaurant. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, Shane, it's weird, the stuff they're doing in AEW. They're starting to go a little south. So, Reggie, my friend, I would love to give you a Bound for Glory opinion on the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Brother, I don't have one. I'm going to be straight with you, man. I don't follow Impact. I followed Impact for a good long time, and I covered them online in a column every week for 2 months, and I couldn't take it anymore. Now, look, this was back before all the talent came back, right? That left WWE, so maybe I should give another chance. I'm hearing that the product is pretty good. I don't mean any disrespect to that company. As I've said before, I want Impact to succeed as much as I want AEW and New Japan to succeed, and that's the truth, and WWE. So, yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I'm trying to hit some comments from some folks who don't talk that often. Mike says, I wasn't fond of the fact that they gave Rhodes back the title so quickly. She'll let Brody hold that title a little longer. I'll give you that. I'm going to agree with you. I'm okay with that too. But the way they brought him back, it was a perfect setup at the same time. Yes. Robbie says Kingston's like Joey Ryan. It's a guy you want to hate, but you just get set. Robbie, I've never been sucked in Joey Ryan. I could care less about that guy. And look, the fact is he got himself in all kinds of trouble. He's essentially become damaged goods. And you know what? It's karma. I'm just saying, sometimes it's karma. I don't know him personally, and maybe if he heard this, he would blister me in a direct message. I don't mean any disrespect. I don't know the guy personally. Maybe he's not guilty of anything, but it seems like there's some fire to the smoke, if you know what I'm saying. So I never cared for his gimmick. He was never my cup of tea, and I don't really care about him at all, if I'm being straight with you. So let's see. I know I've missed some comments along the way. Let's see where I'm at here. My apologies, folks. I start ranting and covering stuff, and I kind of lose my place in the comments. I want to be sure everybody gets a chance to talk here. Okay, I think we're fairly caught up. Shannon says, can't wait for Cody and Darby. I agree with that for sure. And that leads me to this. Where are you? I will find you, I assure you. There it is. Cody versus Orange Cassidy. What did you think about this match? People are hailing it as a great match that Cody once again put a guy over. And the fact that Orange didn't win is kind of beside the point. I don't think he needed to win, if I'm being straight with you. The fact is that match by match by match, little by little by little, Orange Cassidy is getting proven and get displayed and getting showcased as a top guy in that company. If they had done it from day one, you'd laughed at it. Most people would have laughed at it. So they didn't do it from day one. They took a year to tell this guy's story. And guess what? In 12 months' time, he's still not there yet. Nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, how many of you guys have started a job in 12 months' time, you're ready to be one of the top managers in your position, in your store, or in your line of work, or in your office, or whatever? I guess it's possible, but for most of us, it takes time to learn the trade, to develop a skill, to get better over time. Yes, it takes time to get to the top. So it makes perfect sense to me. Dennis says, I'm from Canada, and I thought it was pretty cool Eddie wearing a Montreal Expos jersey. Yes, he got some nice attention for that, for sure. Ray says, watching Orange fight Cody to a draw is ridiculous. Your son could drop him in 2 seconds. My kid's got some pounds on Orange. I'm not going to lie to you. Listen, Ray, I appreciate your opinion. If I told you guys I'm completely sold on Orange as a top star, I'd be lying. I'm still not. I think it's a lot of wackadoodle nonsense. But, you know, at the same time, I can't very well ignore what modern pro wrestling crowds and fans want to see. And they, for whatever reason, want to see Orange Cassidy. I could dismiss that. I could remain old school, and I could say, oh, well, it's not what I grew up with, and this is nonsense, and it sucks, and it's crap. I could, but I'm really only hurting myself, because I'm not leaving the possibility open to view of anybody with neutral eyes and see the product in today's standards. I don't agree with a lot of it. Don't misunderstand me. But, dude, at the same time, I have to be honest with how I view things. So Reggie says AEW Tag Team Division is real good. I couldn't agree with you more. Now it's the Weed Eater. Can you guys hear that? Insane, man. Gerald says need to give more than 20-minute time limit. I agree with that as well. Mark says Kenny Omega for AEW champ, which looks to be, listen, a lot of people thought that Lance Archer was going to beat Mox this past Wednesday night. Now, we know he didn't do it, but a lot of people believe that Archer was going to win and that Kenny was going to take it from Archer. So that hasn't happened. Are we now looking at the possibility of Kingston beating Mox, or is all this just a roundabout setup to get Omega back to Mox and Omega takes the title from him? We shall see, but let's don't forget one important fact here, folks. Jon Moxley is still the IWGP United States champion. At some point, he's going to have to face Kenta. They gave Kenta the number 1 contender briefcase. He's been pursuing Mox online, throwing jabs at him, saying, I'm coming for you. They're mentioning Jon's name on the air on New Japan. on the streaming service. And, man, it's a big deal. So eventually Mox, they'll have to figure out the travel restrictions and make the match happen. So it's just going to happen at some point. Does Impact have men fight women? Ray, I think they still do. Some of you folks watching can maybe set me straight on that. But last time I was watching all the time, yes, they were. I'm not a fan of it either, Ray, if I'm being honest with you. Shannon says, just not loving Miro. A lot of people are of the same mind as you, for sure. Christopher says, need to boost their women's division. I don't want to rant on Big Swole. In my humble opinion, I don't get it. And maybe it's going over my head. I'm not going to lie. Maybe it's completely over my head. If you call yourself Big Swole, then you should be jacked. You should be swole. She's not swole, which is extremely odd to me. Maybe, is there a joke I'm missing? Maybe there is. I sound like an out-of-touch old man. Listen here, pal. That's who I am right now, right? I don't get it. I don't understand the idea of calling yourself Big Swole when the women you're working are the same size you are, if not more muscular and more fit, maybe. Listen, if I'm wrong, so be it. Again, no disrespect, man. I don't get the gimmick. I just don't understand it. Mark says, I did not know that Jon Moxley is AEW champion. Yes, he is the IWGP United States champion. He's had it since January 4th at Wrestle Kingdom 14. 14? Yes. And he's been AEW champion since February. So AEW World Champion. So yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, something's going to go down eventually. So let's get into some more ratings real quick before we take this thing home. This week, AEW 826,000 compared to last week 753. NXT in was 651, up just a hair from last week's 639. AEW Dynamite continues to win the night over NXT, for better or worse. That is the program that people want to watch. Now look, you can hate me all day and you can say, Tom, why do you always blah, blah, blah AEW? I'm just giving you the stats here, folks. You can take them or leave them. It's okay with me. If you want to deny. It's fine with me all day. But the fact is, I call it as I see it, and it looks to be, from where I'm sitting at least, that people would rather watch AEW Dynamite. Now, what does that mean for the future moving forward? I don't know. We've talked about the possibility of NXT moving nights. It will not happen. And if it were to happen, they'll dress it up and call it something else, because Vince McMahon will never give the impression of defeat. And he knows that by moving the brand now, it looks like they're being defeated and they're tapping out, and he will never do that. But in my opinion, if they were to be on separate nights, NXT would probably be averaging over 800,000, and AEW would probably be in the mid 900s to over 1 million every week. That's just how I see it. I could be dead wrong, and maybe none of this will ever come to pass, and Tom will have a bunch of egg on his face. But that's just my opinion on this whole NXT versus AEW situation. What are your thoughts on the ratings? Keith says AEW was great. No Kenny Omega, though. That's for sure. Cordell says AEW needs help. Cordell, man, have you watched before? Thanks for watching, my friend. I always try to find new names that are hanging out with us. AEW needs help with the women's division. I am back and forth on Tessa, Cordell, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't want to be one of those guys that spouts off the usual talking points about this girl. I don't mean any disrespect. But in my opinion, and again, as I said before, I don't want to see anyone lose their job. I've never advocated for that ever, and I'm not doing it now. But I will say this, the fact that the whole pandemic happened and she got kind of knocked back on her heels a little bit, in my humble opinion, is good for her. Because honestly, I think her ego got in the door before she ever did. Now, maybe that's not fair. Maybe all I'm reading are reports online and I don't know the truth. Maybe all these other women who talk smack about her are jealous. Maybe it's unfounded. Maybe she rubbed somebody the wrong way and that person went out to sabotage her online. How do you know? Maybe it's not fair. But I just call like I see it. And from a distance, not being connected to the story at all. And I know that's not fair. I get it. It looks as though her ego had just gotten a smidge out of control. So no one's disputing how good she is. She's fantastic. She really is. She's a natural. She's Tully Blanchard's daughter, and she took to this thing like nobody's business. She did extremely well. But at the same time, I just call it as I see it. Son, why do you have a blanket on?
Because I didn't feel like putting
your math teacher got back to you, didn't she?
She texted you on Dojo, but still hasn't texted me on.
Well, you need to go check again.
I just did.
Well, go do it again. Okay.
Yeah, she has one for mine.
My apologies, folks. What's up? Sorry about that. You want to shut my door? Isn't that fun that I've got all the noise in the background? All right, my apologies, folks. Real life happens. I record this. We go live. There's no mistake if it's live TV, right? Isn't that what they say? By the way, it's my son. It's the boy, as I affectionately refer to him. Mike says, I can feel that's completely fair. I feel the same way about Tessie. She's good in the ring, but she needs an attitude adjustments. Yeah. Cameron says, big winter storm incoming. Cameron, are you the truck driver in Canada? Are you the one? Because if you are, then I'll remember that from this point on. Listen, man, are you listening to me as you drive? Dude, as always, thank you. I'm humbled by that. But number two of this, please be careful. Isn't that the coolest thing? He agrees. The boy agrees. So there you go. Jason says I'm the other way around, but I got to catch Dynamite in the morning as I feel pretty sleepy. Well, I mean, it's hard to watch all this stuff, man. A lot of pro wrestling content out there, even with the pandemic. Still a lot of stuff to watch. Mark says, "What up, kid?" So let's see. Cordell also says, "True, her ego did get the best of her, but she's good in that ring. I think AEW could use it." They could, but in my opinion, Cordell, and this is just me talking, man, and take this for what it's worth. I don't know if they need a bona fide top level main event, massive ego. She's always the star. She's going to be on top. She's the man. She's the boss. She's the king. She's the queen. Do they need that? Or do they need somebody like Serena Deeb, who's behind the scenes as the coach for the women's division? Now, I'm not saying that Deeb's not. Deeb? I always call her Serena Deeb, right? Maybe it's mispronounced. My apologies. So maybe that's what's going on. Kelly Klein, in my opinion, AEW. For sure. A women's coach behind the scenes. In the ring, of course. But pay this girl. Pay her what she wants and bring her in and organize this women's division. Where's Fit Finley right now? Is Finley still working for WWE? If he's not, that's who you bring in. Who do you think was behind all the women's matches when they were getting red hot in that company? The Women's Evolution. Fit Finley was doing a lot of that work. Dustin Rhodes, I think at one point WWE was producing women's matches. It can be done. It can, for whatever reason, it's not being done in AEW, or it's not being done to our satisfaction, or maybe we're just impatient. Maybe it's a combination of all of those things. Maybe it's all of those things. Shannon says it's just too much to watch both shows the same night. They need separate nights. I agree with that. And this Sunday, this Sunday Hell in a Cell? Is it this Sunday? Oh my God, we didn't even cover the show, did we? Crazy stuff. Listen, we're in the open floor now, so why don't we just talk about it? Let's go ahead and click over here and we'll see what we can see. La 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 la. Let's see here. Let's see here now, boy. Foghorn Leghorn. Throwback, old school. No, 10/25. I knew I wasn't crazy. October 25th, Hell in a Cell. You've got Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, WWE Champion Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, Hell in a Cell match. By the way, the Reigns Uso match is Hell in a Cell, I Quit. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley versus Sasha. Hell in a Cell match. There you go, October 25th. It seems like we have pay-per-views every week now in that company. That's what it feels like. Finley still with WWE? Shame. It's a shame. They ever release him, he knows where to go. Shannon said I missed 2016 WWE. Yeah, what do you miss about it? I'm going to be honest with you. For the past 3 years, it's really... We went from, I think maybe Vince is a little bit out of touch. What do you guys think? To it becoming, my God, did you watch Raw? Why am I still wasting my life on this show? So yeah, again, maybe I'm not being fair. Maybe I'm not being fair. I don't know. Elvis, it's truly an open floor question, kids. Elvis says chocolate cake or cheesecake. Which one do you like more? I shouldn't like either one because during the pandemic, I've packed on the pounds, and starting Monday, that's going to stop. I took some vacation time this work from the civilian job, and I've been at home, but starting Monday, I'm going to start trimming down. And trust me when I tell you, when I put my mind to it, I can trim down. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I say that, but it won't happen. No, I'm completely capable. I've done it many times in the past. So when is Undisputed Era going to be on Raw? Gerald says. I don't know. I've voiced my opinions before on the Undisputed Era. I'll be honest with you. I love Adam Cole. I love the Undisputed Era. Seeing them on the main roster. I just want these guys to be treated with respect and be booked the way they need to be. But I don't think that's going to happen, if I'm being honest. Mar says, do you see a boogeyman appearance at Halloween Havoc? I don't quote me here, but I don't know that he's allowed to do that. I know he's using it on the independent circuit, but hasn't he called himself something else? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm dead wrong, and he will show up. Maybe you're right. It's an interesting idea. So we'll see. Cordell says they try to redo last year Hell in a Cell when they was booking. Says, yeah, you're right. Was it last year? It was Rollins and Wyatt in the red light, the very forgettable Hell in a Cell when Bray Wyatt hulked up and they dropped the truck on him and he got up and kicked out at 1. Seth hit him with a plane, and Bray's like, ugh, got back up and won. Hey, man, it was almost that terrible, wasn't it? Just saying. Mike says, I hope they don't give Orton the title. I know they're building towards it. I just don't want to see it happening. Maybe if it was 5-10 years ago, but give McIntyre the chance to lead Raw. Well, Well, here's the thing about Orton. Orton's been there, done that. He's reliable. He's loyal. He's not going anywhere. He'll never leave, supposedly. He's dialed in. So he is good old reliable. If Drew gets hurt today, Orton's the backup plan, I would dare say. So I don't know if I want to see him get it again. I don't want to see anyone break Flair's 16. Orton's at 14 right now, I think. So yikes. Shannon says, what they were doing with the women on the main roster was great. Now they're being treated like it's a Divas division again. If you're a woman in WWE, you want to be in NXT. It's a shame how that narrative has changed, hasn't it? We've been applauding this company for the past few years about what a great job they've done. And now, yikes, it's getting a little messed up. Would you be interested in seeing The Fiend versus Willow? Mark, I'm cool. I don't know. Sure. It's just, look, it's just hard for me to get excited about anything in that company. And again, if I loved it, I'd tell you. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to work you, right? If I was a major fan of a lot of stuff they're doing, I'd tell you, man, WWE's killing it right now. I don't feel that way. I just don't feel that way. And maybe that's not fair to anybody, but that's just how I feel. So, yeah. Young Bucks versus FTR certainly seems to be the way they're going, but at the same time, I think they're trying to save it for a live crowd, a bigger crowd than what they have. I'm just saying. Shane says, I'm going on the record right now. The feud of the year in 2021 will be Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega will be a war. Sure. Jeff, I don't know about the future of Raw Underground. There's a report online today. I have not read it, so we'll see where it goes. I was never a fan of that, if I'm being honest with you. I think it had potential, but the minute you put something else on your wrestling show and you lend it credence, but it's not wrestling, why am I watching? And why are you still doing wrestling in the ring in that building if you're going to do it underground and say that that's important too? It's like having a boxing match on your wrestling show. Why would I care about this? Do you see what I mean? Why would I ever care about it? It doesn't make any sense. That's just my take, man. Mike says, have you been doing this pandemic? Well, thank you, Mike. I've been doing okay. Thanks for that. Hope you're doing well. Elvis says, what's your favorite? I don't know if I have a favorite pop. I've got some that I really dig. The latest one I got was Chubbs from Happy Gilmore with the wooden hand. Yeah. So, it's good stuff. What's the actor's name? Carl. He was Apollo Creed in Rocky. Carl Weathers. There it is. Well, I have Keith Lee on Raw. He should have been on SmackDown. I agree with that. Why not? Hot garbage right now, pairing Natalya with Lana. It seems they're saddling Natalya with dead weight. I don't know. It seems they might be splitting them up at this point, won't they? Mandy and Lana in the ring together set women's wrestling back 30 years. I've never been a fan of Mandy Rose's work. Whatever potential she may or may not have, I've never seen it. I've never seen potential in Lana as a wrestler. I think they want her to do more than what she can do, and that's be a valet. And I know that sounds harsh. I know that sounds mean. I really don't mean it to be. As you kids know, Lana blocked me on Twitter a long time ago because I made the comment. I didn't even tag. I didn't at her. I didn't tag her or anything. I was watching Raw, and she's standing there in that business suit with a really, really short, tight skirt. that she used to wear, and she's just standing there all posed. You know how she used to stand? She's just all posed and stuff, smiling, that devilish, evil smile, and just watching Rusev. And I got frustrated, and I'm like, all she does is stand there. You know, give me sensational Sherry Martelli any day of the week, because that's a manager. That's a woman manager right there. She actually did things. She actually got her guy over. Lana blocked me after that. It's just proof positive they read their own press. Lana especially reads her own press, folks. You guys should know that by now. It really matters to her what you think. And I wasn't disrespectful. I didn't call her a name. I didn't say fire her. I just said, give me sensational Sherry any day of the week, because this isn't doing it for me. She didn't like that opinion. It is what it is. I think Jeff Hardy alone owns the Willow character. I could be right. Yeah, Mark, I think you're right. And why in the world would he want to do it in WWE so Vince could get his hooks in it? Just my take. I think Natalia's going to SmackDown, supposedly why they had Lana win that ungodly battle royal. Mike says, could be. I saw no signs of Zelina Vega, Gerald, in the draft. I don't know. Good question. Mark says Raw Underground can go to the network. It could. Well, who knows? Cordell says, well, I would love to see, but I don't think Vince is not going for it because he won't get that gimmick just like he did. Yeah, you're right. And woke Matt Hardy was not woken Matt Hardy, excuse me, was sure not broken Matt Hardy, was it? Pretty sad. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. Mike says Vegas on SmackDown from what I read somewhere. Could be. Will Jericho leave the bill for MJF to pay for? Yes. Why not? Or they'll stick Sammy with it. They'll stick Sammy with it. They'll all be at the table or stuff or something. Like the Inner Circle will come along and they'll all get up really, really. MJF's like, I just got to get my cut. I'll be right back or something. They won't come back. I don't know. We'll see. Keith says Vega was drafted to SmackDown. Maybe I missed that. Maybe you know what? Maybe I gave the results. We'll see. Let me look it up. I gave the results of the draft. Maybe we just all missed it together. We all missed it together, folks. Let's see here. La 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 la. It seems like I said her name, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm not seeing her name. You know, it could be I'm overlooking it. So there you go. What else we got before we take this thing home? What do I think about WWE? Brady? Yeah, you lost me, James. I don't know who you're talking about. Well, Adam Cole be champ again. I think his time with the NXT Championship is over. I could be wrong. I think it's over. I think they're going to move him to the main roster at some point. I think it's the next logical step. I'm not saying I'm happy about it. Cherie says, what do you think about Halloween Havoc? I love the idea. I've always loved the name. We'll see what to do with it. I used to be so in tune with NXT. I'm so happy with them. And I haven't been happy with that brand in a long time. Shan says, how do you feel about Sammy and Matt continuing their feud? I think Matt's not done. I think he wants to really put Sammy over. But here's the thing. I heard their feud was called Cursed. I'm not going to say I agree with that, but man, it seems to have some bad juju around it, doesn't it? I don't know, man. God, here's hoping whatever they do, they're completely safe and everything goes according to plan this time and doesn't end with Matt nearly getting killed. No one wants to see that. So Shane says Eva Marie is back into WWE. She is. Moving on. Mike says, MJF joins Inner Circle just to overtake the group. And they throw Jericho out. Therefore, Hill MJF versus Jericho will happen. Mike, I agree with you. I've been saying that as well. I think MJF could take the group over, put Wardlow in, and maybe be Hager and Jericho on the outs. That'd be interesting. We'll see. All right, we got time for one more. We're going to take this thing home. We're past our hour mark, kids, by 4.5 minutes. What am I thinking? Let's see. Come on, give me a good one. We'll take this thing home. Somebody, anybody, give me something good. Give me something positive we can end the show on. Give me a question, comment, word of wisdom. Give me something great. Give me a nugget, a tidbit, a factoid. Give me something here, something I can chew on and enjoy and eat with my coffee. which is cold by now. I'm going to get one of those little burners. I'm going to order on Amazon. They're too pricey. And we'll hook it right into that USB port right there, and we'll keep my coffee hot all the time. Christopher says, thank you for everything. Hey, man, it's my pleasure. I love doing this show. Are you kidding me? Hey, listen, thank you guys for watching. Okay, I'm going to split. I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. Thank you all for a great week, or for a great show. Thank you. I hope you all have a great weekend. Don't go anywhere. Here's where you can go. Are you ready? Go to my Facebook page. If we're not friends on the Facebook, then you can't go. So make it happen. Go to my Facebook page or Tom Clark 6M Podcast Facebook page. All of you wrestling fans are going to want to do this. Trust me, because in a few minutes, I reveal episode 10 for next Tuesday. You don't want to miss it. I promise you. I promise you. So there you go. Let's take this stuff off here, and we're going to get out of here, folks. I want to thank you all again for watching. And for all